In this video, we're going to talk about perfection paralysis. A question that a lot of voiceovers when they're starting out consistently ask me, and I know it's a familiar one because I was asking myself constantly exactly the same question, is when will I know that I'm good enough to actually start reaching out to clients? It's a very important question to ask because you don't want to run before you walk. There are a number of different aspects in your voiceover business that you do need to work on and get right before you can actually reach out. First and foremost is obviously the technical aspect and the performance aspect. From a performance aspect, you need to make sure that you yourself as your product are good enough that you can deliver a certain level of flexibility and quality in your reads. You need to be confident about which genres that you work best in so that you can market and push to those particular areas rather than trying to be a jack of all trades, unless that is your skill set. Then there's also investment in demos as a result of that, because they're essentially your calling cards. They're the thing that you're going to be making your first impression with. And then obviously there's the whole technical aspect as well. If you're working from home, if you're recording from home, then you need a consistent recording setup, not something that is going to sound different on a different day. And it needs to be to a certain standard with no reflections, no reverb, no extraneous noise and all of these kind of things. And then of course we come down to the marketing side of things as well, which is essentially making sure that your online presence is good, consistent, that you've come up with a brand that you're proud of, that excites you and that will spark interest in the people that you're reaching out to, and also that you've got a very clear idea of what kind of correspondence that you're going to be having with potential clients. Do you know how you'll be following up? Do you know what your rates are? Do you know what your level of flexibility is? Do you know how to best to negotiate? All of these things are very open questions, and essentially it becomes how long is a piece of string. Now all of these things can be an excuse to not start at all at the same time. We get stuck into a mindset that essentially our demos need to be perfect, and our recording space needs to be perfect, and our marketing needs to be perfect, and that simply isn't the case. A lot of people get concerned that if they reach out and one of those three things isn't of an absolutely exceptional standard, that they'll be blacklisted. What I would say is that although we don't want to be making any negative impressions, the vast majority of people that I've worked with and reached out to probably don't have the time to actively blacklist you unless you've let them down on a particular project. So I would say as long as your intentions are in the right place, that you have a clear idea about where you want to be going on a technical and on a marketing, on a performative side, the sooner that you actually get started with your business, the faster your learning will be as you actually deal with clients. There's a moment where you really have to take off the training wheels and actually do it for yourself. And it's only actually through riding through that journey that you'll become the voiceover artist that you want to be. Also, and especially pertaining to the idea of brand and marketing, you need to get out of the idea that your marketing and your brand is a static point. Rather, it's a constantly evolving and developing thing. And this can actually play to your advantage, especially when working out, because one of voiceover's biggest concerns often is, after you've initially reached out to a potential client, is what do I say in any kind of follow-up? And the answer to that essentially is that obviously you want to be able to offer different solutions depending on what their problems are, but your evolution in your marketing and in your performance and in your demos, and even technically as well in terms of your recording space, as these all improve, these are things that you can then actually update your leads, prospects and clients to show that evolution as well. That's something that's significant. There's a really great saying that actually kind of flipped my perspective a little bit in my first year of voiceover, which is that they're not hiring you already. So in terms of that anxiety that you might have about reaching out to a potential lead or prospect or client, or pitching yourself for a certain project or sending that demo to someone, they're not hiring you already. So your chances are definitely 0% if you do nothing because you're scared your product or you yourself aren't good enough. You have to actively participate. To kind of echo Samuel Beckett's sentiments, you have to try and fail again and fail better consistently. By all means, make sure that your foundations are solid and you can do the basics very, very well. But don't make perfectionism an excuse for not getting started in the first place. And don't find yourself constantly stuck in a loop of continually training and training and training and never converting that into business action and opportunities and pursuing all of those things. I'd be really interested to hear your opinions on such a subject, whether or not there are certain times where you've held back because you feel you haven't quite got there yet, and if you've got any particular strategies about overcoming that, then I'd be really interested to hear that in the comments below. I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please do like and subscribe. Thanks very much for watching as ever, and I'll see you next week.